Is the CEO of BM Investments, and I'm here in his very nice offices today. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So before we get into it, ngicela ukuthi ungitshele kabanzi ngoBoitumelo.
Okay. I'm from the Vaal. It's a small township, Spokane. And that's basically where I grew up. Grew up with a passion for football, so I played soccer for my entire life, basically. And I really enjoyed studying when I went to high school and university. So as a result, I had good marks, and it was then where I decided I want to pursue the chartered accountancy route. And opportunities came where I received a number of scholarships and bursaries, and I decided to, pursue my chartered accountancy. So that's who I am in a very in a brief overview.
Oh, awesome. But what I'm interested in is Uti, how did you then move from that to you deciding Uti manje I want to start a business here?
So I was in investment banking. So I spent about a couple of years, I think close to 10 years in investment banking. Sure. I know I look very
I was about to okay.
Yeah, so and then basically I started having a passion for small businesses, and I realized that there was a problem, which is the problem is small businesses don't have mentorship, don't have the skills that are needed to grow and scale. And with this in mind, I decided, why don't I assist these small businesses be able to scale and become big businesses? So that's why I eventually decided, let me venture out and help small businesses. And there were two issues. They needed funding and they needed mentorship. So I wanted to come up with something that would basically address those two needs. So hence the entrepreneurship route.
Sure. So what makes your business or the way that you assist the entrepreneurs different from what we would usually see, let's say, for example, about NYDA or these other agencies, whether public or private?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So normally what you see is that the players in the ecosystem, be it the NYDA or the venture capital companies, they focus on one thing. So most of them focus on just funding. Some of them focus on just mentorship. So it becomes a problem where you give an entrepreneur money, but you don't give an entrepreneur the tools to succeed. So you have to give them both. And that is where I think that is the sweet spot that I found, which is not only giving these guys money, but giving them the tools that they need to succeed. So that's the sweet spot that I play in.
So tell us a bit more about the businesses that you have invested in. I'm quite interested to know.
So the first business I invested in is Uprise Africa. Okay. It's a financial services business, and it's the first business in Africa which is an equity crowdfunding platform. It's got a registered license, meaning anyone that wants to raise funding for their business can come onto the platform and basically raise funding from anyone on the street. So people on the street can contribute to the fund and basically get to fund the businesses that they're interested in. So that is quite exciting, and it's what we're going to be focusing on for the next couple of months. And this has a lot of potential.
And so how many people exactly are in your business? I know that you're the CEO, but how many other people does your company employ?
We run a very lean team. It's 4 people at the moment, but that's excluding our board of directors. So we've got non-executive directors. We've got about 4 other non-executive directors. They don't play an active role, but they play more of an advisory kind of role.
And now tell me about the other businesses that you've invested in. So you bought into Uprise Africa, right?
Yes.
And you said there was another business that you had bought into, or you had bought shares in?
Yes, yes.
Tell me about that one.
So it's a lifestyle lounge. And what I mean by a lifestyle lounge is I think it's a mixture of a restaurant and a club. So if you think of a News Cafe, if you think of Cubana, if you think of Rockets, it's something that's similar to that, where people can go have a good time, but it's not really a club where people just go to dance and can't really hear each other. So that's the second business that we've invested in, and we believe we've invested in the right market. This is a business in Klerksdorp, where there's essentially not much for people to do from an entertainment perspective. And that's currently doing very well.
So, niwakhetha kanjani lama business that you invest in? Like, do you send out someone to go and hunt for businesses that look like they have a potential? Noma, do you work on sectors? How do you?
Yeah, so again, we don't consider any specific sector to be our favorite. We look across the board. So any business that appeals to us, that we believe has a lot of potential, that we believe we can add value to, that we believe in the next couple of years we'll be able to move from small to a big business, then we'll look at it. And for us, and it's a very important point to make, it doesn't have to be profitable at the moment. So even if the business is loss-making, not doing well, we believe we've got the skills in-house to turn the business around. For instance, the business, the lifestyle lounge that we invested in, it's called Boitumelo Lounge, by the way, in Klerksdorp. It wasn't really doing well. And what we did is that we invested in it and then put in someone that's very experienced in turning around businesses and turn that business around from loss-making to profitable. The other thing is skills. I mean, it's difficult to get the right kind of skills, especially if you're managing people's money. You can't just hire anybody that comes knocking on your door. You know, you have to get the most talented people, and you have to get people that are passionate about finance and investments. It's very important, because if someone's not passionate about finance and investments and they're managing people's money, they're not going to treat money with respect. Because if I've got R1 million of your money that you worked hard for, and I just mismanage it, then we're going to have a lot of problems, right? So you have to get the right people on board.
Yeah. So I truly agree with the skills part as well as the finance part. But into ngifuna ukuyazi kuwena is ukuthi if I'm an entrepreneur ngihleli ekhaya, I need more people in my team ukuthi basebenzisane nami, or maybe I was alone ngifuna uku-add abanye abantu into the business. How do I identify umuntu that has the passion? How do I know ukuthi this guy is not a chancer, this girl is not a chancer? How do I take that risk? What do I look for?
Yeah, yes. So it's one of those questions where there's no set answer, because people interview well. You bring someone to an interview, they prepare for it, they ace
CV
it.
well as well.
The CV, exactly, you know. So it's one of those where unless you put them through the fire, put them through the test, you'll never know. So you're going to get it wrong more times than you get it right. I mean, we've been through, I can't even stress how many people. We've been through, I think, about 5 people where someone interviewed well, had the right CV, had the right skills, but when it came to actually doing the work, the person, just didn't pitch, didn't show up for meetings, wasn't really passionate, was dragging their feet, and you constantly had to motivate and constantly had to inspire someone. So people that are motivated and people that are passionate, you don't have to motivate them to work harder, because they're doing what they love. And you can't, fortunately you can fake everything, but you can't fake love. And you can't fake your passion. So eventually it will come out that actually, no, this person is not the right person.
So last question, how did you raise capital for your business yako?
So I had a couple of, it was very interesting. So I first went out to institutions, going out to the IDC, going out to a couple of, big institutions, and it's quite tough, because if you starting up a fund, people are always looking for your track record. What have you done? And this and that. How many businesses do you have? And when you're starting up, no one wants to take the risk. So what I did is that I did something, very audacious. I went onto Facebook, went onto Instagram, went onto social media, just made a call to say, guys, this is who I am. Most of them knew who I was. And this is what I'm doing. I've started a fund. If you want to contribute to the fund, then put your money where your mouth is. It's most of us get 1,000 likes, and you get backing from people. But when people actually have to put money, that's when you know that people back you or not. So that's what I did. Raised money off Facebook, and a couple of high net worth guys, individuals that trusted me and knew my brand. And they put their faith in me, and that's how I raised the funds.
Very smart. So finally, what are the words of wisdom that that you would want to share with entrepreneurs abukele emakhaya?
So it's entrepreneurship is never easy, right? You have to have a thick skin. You have to be relentless in your pursuit for what you want to achieve. you have to know that it's going to take longer than you expect. It's going to be harder than you expect. There's going to be days where you don't feel like doing it anymore. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I felt like quitting. But you have to make sure that no matter what, you pick yourself up, have to find somewhere, that inner strength. You have to make sure that you build that inner strength and get it from somewhere. And make sure that whatever you do, never give up, always keep going. And, sometimes it's not about the most talented entrepreneurs. You don't have to be the smartest person, but just make sure that your work ethic is much better than your always make sure that your work ethic is on point. I think basically that's what I'm trying to say, because a lot of guys tend to put in the work when it's all nice and things are going well, but when things turn around, guys just sort of go into a depression mode and don't want to wake up and don't want to continue. So always make sure that no matter how difficult it gets, pick yourself up and keep going.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
And that was Boitumelo Mofikoe. Now off to the break.